Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Design. I am here today. This is going to be a quick video because, of course, I don't do the editing and all that jazz. So I have to talk you through the processes that came before. This is my attempt to use some of what I have. So what I started out with here is a gel print. Now, you probably know from experience that most gel plates are 8 by 10, paper is 8.5 by 11. So there was this white border around. I chose to sort of knock back the white by using, what are they called? I didn't think I put them away. Oh, I didn't. Gelatos. So I did some of that in a variety of greens. I had also come across a plant book that I had deconstructed and actually did some progress with some pages, and I had a number of these little plants that I ended up fussy cutting. So I thought, okay, green plant against green background. Clearly I need some contrast. So I also found, I think I threw away I don't know, it might have been a dollar store. Not very good at telling you guys about products, am I? Probably long gone. Anyway, it was a package of little tissue paper bundles in all these colors. So I used the green ones because, of course, I thought it would be an area. Now, I could have used blue. An area of contrast behind these little guys. So then what I did, I tore the edges so they would be less, straight edged. But it looked like, oh, dark green squares. How exciting. So then this morning, what I did was gessoed, sort of dry brushed some white gesso over it just to have those dark green patches blend in a little better with my original paper. Oh, I should also say that I added some gelato throughout the thing just to change the colors up a bit. So when I sat down with this thing a minute ago thinking, okay, well, maybe it's time to actually glue these little guys down, it seemed to me that they would still be lost against that green. So then what I pulled out was another couple of neglected products. Initially, I thought, well, okay, purple and green, we know that works together well. I tried this pearlescent one in that color, and it did nothing, essentially. So then these are, well, it just says chalks. And using a stipple brush or a stencil brush from back in the day, I started introducing some of, what color? I think it was this one. This color just in this corner. So then I thought, well, maybe that's a good point to bring you guys in and and I have no idea if this is a legitimate technique of any kind, but again, who cares? Who cares? So essentially, I'm just trying to add a bit of contrast, add a bit of, layers, variation in value, and then, at some point I will stop again and see what happens when I hold some of those fussy cuts against there. Is it going to, will it continue to disappear? And I'm kind of, again, being very random about how I'm doing this. So I'm using you know, a horizontal, a vertical, a scrubbing kind of scrubbing kind of technique. And you can see that it is making a bit of a difference. Now, I suppose if I wanted to take this a step further, but maybe I should just do a little, take the pulse of the piece first and see what happens if I just, you know, I think what I'm doing is improving the layering and the depth creation. So I will continue to do that. Now, of course, chalk by its nature is kind of crumbly and powdery. So once this is all done, and I hope that's not a technical error, I'm going to just do a thing on the side here where I could test it. What I was going to say is that I would go over it with gel, like with matte medium, just as a sealant sort of. I don't want to get rid of all the white because, of course, there is that in these pieces as well. I'm just wondering, though, if I shouldn't... What have I got to lose? See, this is such a very hard line, but I will break it up with some plants. I'm just wondering if I shouldn't. See how much this flakes off. Next to nothing, so that's good. Adjacent to the color I was using is this. So let's see what happens if I try some of that as well. Let's be bold and put it right over here. I also considered, but then, you know, it's kind of, sometimes we fall in love with a technique or a product, or we had a happy accident and are afraid then to budge. I was planning to just reach for my beat up little piece of punchinella and do some ink work on there. But I thought, okay, if the whole idea is to try if the whole idea is to play, to use up existing product here in the studio and to experiment and throw caution to the wind, then that's, you know, doing the same old thing is not going to be the path to that. You know how I love to hold things back, take time to consider it. But I'm thinking that I can't afford to do that, really, at this point. I guess I'm kind of afraid that if I glue down my focal points at this point, then I lose my ability to do something more to it. That is not accurate. I mean, realistically, I could keep adding layer upon layer upon layer. So I'm feeling, these are my water-soluble crayons and pencils. It feels like ink tints. Now this is just copy paper, so there's a limit to what I can. Okay, this is a watercolor one. This is ink tints. I'm leaning towards, this is Aquarelle or Aquatone by Derwent. This one is more like a Caran d'Ache. Oh my goodness, it would have been good to maybe figure some of this out before inviting you guys in. Blue indigo. I think, well, let's just quickly do a little. I want blue to be the answer. Ooh, that's dark. Deep indigo. I think that I will. Now, what's this one? Ooh. Maybe this one would brighten things up a bit. So I'm just going to use it, you know, like when we were kids in grade 1, and maybe doing a coin rubbing or something. And part of the plan here, oh, look, it's picking up those little, whatever those things are, is to break up this very, that's actually kind of cool, break up this very solid line here. Now, let's not get carried away. I think I'm going to avoid touching that with water, simply because the paper isn't going to take well to that. Of course, these this gel print that I began with is probably 3 years old, so I have no idea what I used there. This is starting to look, I don't know, what, a wee bit patchworky perhaps? But let's not prejudge. Let's throw down some stuff and see what we get. And then, of course, there is the opportunity always to add more to it. I have more here than I need. But you know, sometimes you don't know ahead of time. Do you need a cactus or do you need a big, massive thing like that? So you mix it up. Because I was thinking about this as a possible page in a journal, or, you know, sort of a lightweight masterboard. I guess if I used all of them, it would certainly make sure there was a lot of plants in the mix. Okay, I'm going to stand up and see what I can see. Well, this guy needs to come off the edge because part of that leaf was torn. Just like this little thing that I salvaged at the bottom here will help. I always think it looks better when some of the art or some of the pieces go off the edge. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is, I mean, it's more interesting than I first imagined it might be, than how it was looking. Oh, see, that's part of a pot too. This is supposed to be down here somewhere. Now there, I said that I wasn't going to add water, but of course, if I use matte medium, that will serve, that's liquidy enough that it would serve the same purpose as water, and it would get stuff moving. Now I suppose if I don't, oh, this seems lost against here. If I don't wet it, or I mean, what I meant to say was I could still, you know, stamp over this or whatever. And I did buy the other day at Walmart, I believe, I bought this workable fixative. Now, I really hate sprays because they're so darn toxic and stinky. But I have been watching somebody, and of course, when you have something like chalk that can move, it's best to fix it. And I think the workable bit meant that a crystal clear protective spray coating protects against dusting and smudging, no wrinkles, ideal for charcoal, pastel, and pencil drawings and layouts. Surface should be clean and dry, shake can, blah, blah, blah. Dry time is 5 minutes. So that's what we have there. I almost feel like I need to add, you know, purple is a great shadow color. What is this? Oh, that's black. Mind you, again, I can always do this after these things are glued down. Or go back in and do them. Whoopsie. Colored the edge of the pot. Okay, I think I'm going to stop the video there and show you how this turned out in a follow-up Friday video, because clearly there's going to take more, there's going to be more required here. Honestly, I love this. It's like, you know, like I said, when we're rubbing over coins or other textural items. Yeah, I think those shadows kind of ground these plants and make it look less like they're floating. Cool. Cool, cool. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to stop there. I think I need to break this area up as well. Oh, let's not use the purple. What was I using? Yes, I'm going to stop there, and I will show this to you in an upcoming follow-up Friday video. And you will see how many more times I change my mind or add something to the mix or whatever. Oh, that's my aquarelle pencil. I wonder where my black one is. Anyway, I think you can expect to see more of these mixed media kinds of videos because, of course, that is where my heart seems to want to take me. And let me know in the comments if you would prefer to see a more like a process video, knowing that, you know, it would have to be live because of my disability, my inability to edit, and my unwillingness to learn how to edit at this moment in time. So the only way that, you know, some substantial progress could be made on some of these things is if a person was actually creating live and, you know, allowing for some of the drying time and the deciding time and all of that. Anyway, guys, thank you. If you're a new subscriber, thank you. Existing subscribers, love to have you here. Love to hear your comments, and well, I love to hear from everyone. And please, if you are a new subscriber, introduce yourself in a comment under a video. That way I get to know who you are. I get to understand that you are new and that you've made that decision to support me in that way. Those are all good things to know. And I'm also curious as to where you people live. If you're Canadian, let me know, because that makes us fellow Canucks. If you live elsewhere in the world, well, tell me that too, because that's what keeps this world getting smaller and smaller. Creating these relationships and these friendships across the globe. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. We shall see you in the next one. Bye.